Think about those names you hear. Names from history. You recognize them, but maybe you don't know the whole story.
Right.
For me, Nikola Tesla is definitely one of those. Genius inventor, sure, but what's the real deal?
Exactly. And that's what we do here on the Deep Dive. We take sources like this detailed Vietnamese Wikipedia entry on Tesla and pull out the really juicy bits, the stuff that matters.
Kind of the shortcut to getting the full picture.
Precisely. We want to go beyond just, Tesla invented AC. There's so much more.
Yeah, this source covers, well, everything. His childhood, school, those incredible inventions, but also the struggles, right?
Absolutely. You're going to hear about some surprising facts, key moments, maybe get a few aha insights into his world.
It sounds like quite a journey. From his early days to the big AC battles, and then, well, some pretty wild later projects.
It really is a remarkable story how it all unfolded.
Okay, let's dive in then. The beginning. Our source says he was born back in 1856, Smiljan, which was the Austrian Empire then, now Croatia.
Correct. And his family background seems pretty significant. His father was a Serbian Orthodox priest.
Okay.
But it was his mother, Uka Mandic, who Tesla really credited skilled craftswoman, apparently.
Oh, interesting.
And get this, she had an eidetic memory, like photographic, for Serbian poetry.
Wow.
Yeah, and Tesla was convinced that's where he got his creativity and his own amazing memory from.
Makes sense, those early influences. And school. There was a teacher.
Ah, yes. Martin Sekulic, his math teacher. This is pretty amazing. Tesla could apparently do integral calculus in his head.
In his head. Seriously.
Seriously. The teacher apparently didn't even believe him at first, just a different level of thinking.
Clearly. And he graduated early, too, 1873. But then things got rough.
Very rough. He got cholera in 73, nearly died.
Oh, wow.
And that near-death experience led to a promise from his father, recover, and I'll send you to the best engineering school.
Quite the motivation. Did he go straight there?
Not quite.
Yeah.
He dodged military servant first, which was, a whole thing back then. Then he enrolled at the Polytechnic Institute in Graz. Started strong. First year was great. But then he developed a bit of a gambling problem, lost his scholarship. Didn't end up graduating from Graz.
Oof. Not what you expect from the genius narrative.
No. And he later audited lectures in Prague, but again, no degree. Missed some required classes. It shows even brilliant minds have, well, real-life struggles.
True. But he did start working, right? Budapest?
Yes, at the Budapest Telephone Exchange. Worked under Tivadar Puskás, started making improvements to their equipment there.
So practical skills, even without the diplomas.
Absolutely. He was already improving things, even claimed he perfected a telephone repeater, though he never patented it. The inventor's mind was definitely working.
Okay, so from Budapest, Paris, and Edison.
Yep, joined Continental Edison in France in '82, designing, improving electrical stuff. That's the start of the Edison connection.
And then the big move to the U.S. in 1884.
Which was not smooth sailing. Got robbed, almost shipwrecked on the way over.
Seriously, what a start.
Yeah, arrived with basically just a letter of introduction. Pretty daunting.
But he landed the job at Edison Machine Works in New York.
He did, and quickly impressed them. Got put on redesigning Edison's DC generators. A big task.
And he nailed it. Right. Made them much better.
Apparently so. Significantly improved efficiency. And this leads to that story.
The $50,000.
The $50,000. Edison supposedly promised him that huge sum for the redesign.
Which would have been life-changing money then.
Totally. But according to the source, when Tesla delivered, Edison just laughed it off, said something like, "Tesla, you don't understand our American humor."
Ouch. That had to sting.
You'd think so. That plus their fundamental disagreement over DC versus AC power, Tesla resigned.
Right. Edison was all in on DC, direct current. But Tesla saw the future in AC, alternating current.
Exactly. AC could travel much further, much more efficiently. It was a core conflict.
So Tesla goes his own way. Starts his own company in '85.
Tesla Electric Light and Manufacturing, yeah. With Robert Lane and Benjamin Vail. Focused initially on arc lighting, something he knew from Edison.
Okay. Playing it a bit safe to start.
Seems like it. He even got his first U.S. patent then for an improved DC generator, oddly enough. Installed a system in Rahway, New Jersey. Got some good press.
But the AC dream wasn't happening yet.
Not with those investors. They just weren't interested in his AC ideas. And then, things went south.
How so?
The company got reorganized in 1886 without him.
No.
Yep. He was left penniless. And worse, he'd apparently traded his earlier patents for stock in the first company, so he lost control of those too.
Oh man, so he was back to square one.
Even worse. The source says he had to work as a ditch digger, manual labor, just to survive for a while, questioning his whole education, a really low point.
That's brutal, but things had to turn around.
Thankfully, yes. He met Alfred S. Brown and Charles F. Peck. They saw the potential in his AC ideas.
Finally, someone got it.
They provided the backing, helped with patents, formed the new Tesla Electric Company in April 1887.
Okay, second chance. Did he get a lab?
He did. 89 Liberty Street, Manhattan. Finally, a space to really focus on his AC systems, motors, generators.
And this is where the breakthrough happens. The induction motor.
This is it, 1887. The AC induction motor. Such a critical invention.
Using that rotating magnetic field idea he'd apparently had years earlier.
The very same, created by multi-phase current. Just brilliant.
So what made it so good?
Well, it was self-starting, efficient, but the key. No commutator.
The sparky bit on DC motors.
Exactly. No commutator meant no sparking, way less maintenance. Huge advantage. He patented it in May 1888.
And people noticed.
Oh, yeah. He demonstrated it at the American Institute of Electrical Engineers that same month. Westinghouse engineers were there.
Westinghouse. George Westinghouse.
The man himself, or at least his engineers, they were impressed. Really impressed.
So they saw the potential.
Absolutely. Just a couple months later, July 1888, Westinghouse licensed Tesla's motor and transformer designs. Big money plus royalties.
Wow, that's validation.
And he hired Tesla as a consultant in Pittsburgh. It was a major win for Tesla and for AC power. Finally, the resources to challenge DC.
Though the source mentions some hiccups. Adapting AC for streetcars.
Right, it wasn't instantly perfect for everything. His motor ran at a pretty constant speed, which wasn't ideal for streetcars needing variable speed. They had some disagreements.
So not always smooth sailing even with Westinghouse.
No, practical implementation often throws up challenges. They ended up using a different motor type for the streetcars eventually, but the bigger picture was AC's advantage for long-distance power.
And this is when the war of currents really heated up.
Oh, absolutely. Late 1880s, intense competition, Westinghouse pushing AC, Edison defending DC, often viciously.
Propaganda and everything, trying to scare people about AC.
Definitely. Edison's side ran campaigns claiming AC was far more dangerous, playing on public fear. It got pretty nasty.
And then financial trouble hit. The Panic of 1890.
Yeah, a major financial crisis started in London. Barings Bank nearly collapsed, and it squeezed credit everywhere. Westinghouse got into serious trouble.
Lenders putting the pressure on.
Big time. They demanded Westinghouse cut costs drastically. And one of the things they targeted was Tesla's royalty agreement.
Oh, no. After all that.
Yeah. Westinghouse had to go to Tesla and basically ask him to give up the royalties. The company's survival was on the line.
What did Tesla do? That was potentially a fortune.
He tore up the contracts.
He just tore it up.
According to the accounts, yes. He released Westinghouse from the royalty obligation. He believed so strongly in AC, he sacrificed his personal wealth to ensure Westinghouse survived to champion it.
That's incredible. Truly selfless for his vision.
It really is. He put the technology ahead of his own fortune. Westinghouse did later buy his patents outright for a lump sum as part of a deal with GE.
GE being the merged Edison and Thomson-Houston companies.
Correct. So ultimately, AC won the war, thanks in no small part to Tesla's invention and, well, his sacrifice.
So with the AC wars kind of settled, Tesla could get back to his own lab work in New York.
Exactly. Back to inventing. And this period saw some of his most, let's say, iconic creations.
Like the Tesla coil. Everyone's seen pictures of those things.
Developed around 1891, and yeah, visually spectacular. The key was how it handled super high frequencies and voltages, way beyond standard transformers.
How did it work, basically?
Resonance, like pushing a swing perfectly in time to make it go higher. The Tesla coil uses tuned electrical circuits, primary and secondary coils resonating, to build up those massive voltages, sparks flying, wireless energy. It was revolutionary.
And he was also playing with X-rays before they were officially discovered.
He was. Early 1894, he noted this unknown radiant energy affecting photographic plates. He called it shadowgraphs.
But then disaster struck his lab.
Yeah, a fire in March 1895 destroyed his fifth lab. Lost tons of notes, equipment, early research, including potentially stuff related to those X-rays. Such a setback.
He was so close. The source mentions he might have even accidentally taken an X-ray photo.
Of Mark Twain, possibly. Using a special tube, only the metal screw on the camera showed up on the plate. A real what-if moment in science history.
But he did have a huge public success with remote control, right? The boat.
Oh, the teledomaton. 18 1898 Madison Square Garden electrical exhibition, he demonstrated this radio-controlled boat.
People must have freaked out.
Completely!
Hmm.
They couldn't figure it out. Magic? A monkey inside? Tesla said it had a borrowed mind. It was basically the ancestor of drones and robotics, way ahead of its time.
Did he try to sell the idea, maybe to the military?
He did, pitched it as a radio-controlled torpedo. But the U.S. military wasn't interested then. Took another couple of decades around World War I for remote control to really take off militarily.
Always ahead of the curve, like his idea for wireless power.
Exactly. This was maybe his grandest, most ambitious vision. Wireless lighting, wireless power transmission globally.
Before most places even had widespread electricity grids.
Right. He dreamed of powering the world from one big tower, everyone just having receivers, no wires needed.
And that led to the Wardenclyffe Tower project.
That was meant to be the culmination. Started building it in New York around 1900, a massive tower for global wireless communication and power.
But never got finished.
No. His main backer, the banker J.P. Morgan, pulled the funding.
Why?
Well, the source suggests Morgan realized Tesla wasn't just thinking about telegraphy. He was aiming for free wireless energy distribution.
Which doesn't sound like a great business model if you're J.P. Morgan.
Precisely. That difference in vision communication for profit versus potentially free energy for all seems to have doomed the project.
Fascinating. And what about that vibrating machine, the oscillator?
Ah, yes. The steam-powered oscillating generator, patented 1893. Designed to make electricity through vibration.
And the story about it shaking his lab and maybe bringing down buildings.
Yeah, the 1898 story. Claimed it shook his building so much the police came. Even boasted a bigger one could maybe topple the Empire State Building.
Adds to the mystique, I guess.
It does. Maybe a bit of showmanship, but it showed his grasp of resonance and vibration on a huge scale.
We should also remember his role at Niagara Falls, right? Consulting on the power plant.
Absolutely crucial. 1893. Helping choose the electrical system for the first major hydroelectric plant. It was a massive public win for AC power.
A real turning point, proving AC could work on that scale.
Definitely. It cemented AC and Tesla's systems as the way forward for generating and distributing power.
And his labs, despite the fire, he kept going.
Oh yeah, rebuilt after the 1895 fire, moved to East Houston Street, poured years from the 1890s to about 1906 into those wireless energy projects.
He just wouldn't let that dream die.
He truly believed it could change the world. Communication, energy access. It was a humanitarian vision, too, in a way.
It's kind of sad, then, reading that after he died in New York in 1943, his work was sort of forgotten for a while.
It was, yeah. Largely overlooked. It took until 1960 for the scientific community to name the unit of magnetic flux density, the Tesla, in his honor.
A posthumous recognition, at least.
A significant one. But it highlights how his true impact wasn't fully appreciated during his later life. Thankfully, interest really picked up again in the 1990s. People rediscovered him.
So wrapping up this deep dive, we've seen Tesla's absolutely central role in AC power, the system we still use.
The bedrock of modern electricity, really.
We've touched on his incredible range. Remote control, wireless energy, coils, even near misses like X-rays.
Such a fertile, restless mind.
And we've seen the pattern, right? Brilliant breakthroughs, often followed by financial struggles or lack of recognition, triumph and hardship.
Definitely. For me, the thing that really sticks out is just the sheer audacity of the wireless power dream.
Yeah.
To even think that way back then, powering the globe without wires, it's breathtaking. The fact he tried so hard to build it, Wardenclyffe.
Yeah.
It's inspiring, but also kind of tragic it failed.
It really gets you thinking, doesn't it? That final question for you, the listener. What if Wardenclyffe had worked? What if Tesla's vision of wireless power had actually happened a century ago? How different would our world be?
It's a huge question. Technology, society, who knows? It definitely encourages you to dig deeper into Tesla's story. There's so much more there.
Absolutely. If we've piqued your interest, definitely explore more about Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
His life and inventions are just fascinating.
For sure.
Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive.